Hello and welcome to turn 8. That's game turn 17, September the 1st to the 6th of GMT's Stalingrad 42 by Mark Simonich. A few changes here this turn. We're into a slightly different phase of the year, shall we say. So the first thing that's different is that we actually going to be doing weather rolls. We are into the period known as early fall. Now, up until now, the weather has been clear. Now we have to roll on the early fall weather table. Now, before we get all excited about this, pretty much it's a non-entity really for this game. So early fall has the possibility of clear or overcast. Overcast just means that the Germans in the main game only get one aircraft, but of course we've actually withdrawn the aircraft for this campaign, so there are no aircraft, so overcast doesn't really matter. So to be honest, the weather table roll is pretty much immaterial. So well, c'est la vie, I suppose, there. So we can pretty much skip the weather phase because it really doesn't matter whether it's overcast or clear. And it's only much later, game turn 21, where we get into the Rasputitsa, the mud area, where it's going to have an effect. So right, let's crack on. We won't continue not to bother with the weather phase because there's really no point. So we're on to the initial phase for the Germans. Right, initial phase of the Germans, no air units to ready, so we just have reinforcements. And lo and behold, we do actually have a reinforcement on the German side this turn. It's been a bit lean the last few turns. This is the guy we have. It's a security division. So as you can see, not very useful for the campaign as it is at the moment. It's not got a lot of offensive value. But anyway, it's coming in. We have replacements, which this turn is an infantry. And let's see if we can use it anywhere in particular. Yeah, so the only place I think it would be useful to use, because we haven't got a lot of infantry losses here, mostly on the tank side, is over here, outside Tuapse, which is this Jaeger division here, which had a loss, and we are going to restore that. Doesn't mean it cannot take part in the combat, but I think that's fine. I think we'll we'll be able to stomach that. Also, we do have, of course, another North Caucasus volunteer unit. One of these guys. The most useful ones are the cavalry. There we go. Most useful ones are the cavalry, I think. And we'll place that again over in Novorossysk. And very good for kind of stretching the line in this direction. Okay. Our resource point will of course be a supply unit to come on, as usual, on the north map edge. And yeah, I think that's all we've got really for the initial phase. So on to the movement phase. Okay, in the combat phase, I was going to attack this naval unit here, but actually, even though it's a tiny unit and it's being attacked by quite a lot, it actually ends at something like a 2-to-1, which I don't want to risk my tanks on, so not going to do that attack. However, we do attack here, which is 18-to-4, a 4-to-1 straight infantry attack. One shift here for the Soviets for the fortification here, so becoming a 3-to-1. Down here we have 20-to-6, which is a 3-to-1 here. These mountain units are doubled, so there actually is 20 points in those two units. Quite potent in the mountains. And over on the other side here, what is it? The 1st Panzer Army side. We have an attack here, single attack here, which is 21-to-3 with 2 shifts for the elite tank over there. So very disparate attacks, don't really interfere with each other, so we'll just do our straight left to right, I think. So here, 18-to-4 with a shift, so it's 4-to-1 going down to a 3-to-1 to attack the fortification. Oh, 6. Whoa. Okay. The tide's definitely changed on the dice rolls. 3-to-1. A 6 is a D1 advance 3. So we can take a loss here, which I think we will take the naval unit. It's not as speedy. And there's a requirement to retreat from there, and there's a 3 advance. Okay, we could look at doing a or can we? It's not a VP hex, and it's not desperation defense, so I don't think it can actually do, because we're on the orange part of the CRT. So the retreat can't be attempted to be cancelled, so therefore this unit must retreat. And a D1 is 2 hexes and a disruption. So we'll place that there. And we get a 2 hex advance, so the infantry can move here. Well, we have a 3 hex advance, but they're all infantry, so only two hexes at the moment. I think we could advance all 3, and we may be able to attack this with our 2nd advance point here, which will free up the crossing here for the other units. So yeah, great. Let's do that. So 18 again to 2. Well, that's a 9-to-1, and there's no defence here. So straight on the maximum 7-to-1 table for the breakthrough combat. And a 4. A 4's good enough. It's a defender shattered. So that's always are able to move into the breakthrough combat hex. So yeah, we'll put 2 units through there. We have a Zoc bond here, and it's effectively a continuous line here all the way round. Now, interestingly enough, here, just wanted to point out the Romanian mountain unit is 1 spot away from Novorossysk. Now that's a problem. We don't want to. The Russians really don't want to lose that, and I think possibly messed up a little bit on the Russian movement last turn, but I think we can fix it. I think we should be okay to just shore up that defence finally. But that's certainly, a dangerous move there. Anyway, moving on to the 2nd combat here. 20-to-6 is a 3-to-1 here in the mountains. So let's see how that turns out. A 3. A 3 on 3-to-1 is a DR2, so it's a retreat. Now, should we try and stop that? I'm not sure we can. Well, we can, but will we just lose the unit doing that? It will be in the other column, and we're not in anything that's particularly going to give us any support, so we are likely, we may get a partial, likely to fail, but also quite likely, in fact sort of 50-50 chance of losing that unit, and that's going to be quite damaging. So I think we shall retreat too. We can't really afford to lose this unit, so I'll retreat back to Tuapse, and will we advance? Well, yes. I think that one there is a good one to do. We could do another combat here by creating a breakthrough group here and attacking there. Now that would be something. There's another 3-1, and that would really put the pressure down there. So I think it's worth the risk on that one. Yeah, I think another 3-1 attack on the breakthrough combat. Let's see what comes out. Oh, 6. Right. Well, 3-1 D1. So that unit is eliminated, and this causes all kinds of problems here now. We can advance into that hex, and I think we will with one unit. We want to keep that road open. But yeah, now we've got a unit next to Novorossysk, and now we've got one next to Tuapse. Now, interestingly enough, of course, this is actually a city hex, so the mountain units don't have their doubled strength here, so it's much tougher for them to get into Tuapse. But I mean, effectively, we've cut the road here, or in danger of cutting the road here. So yeah, quite an advance by the Germans here on both of these fronts. Okay, so all we have left is the combat, which is much more decisive, I think, on the odds table over in the east, and we'll just move across to there. Right, so the attempt here is to try and break this Okuma river line. 21-3, which is 71 shifts, so it is maximum. Table. Let's see how this goes. It's a 4. 4 on a maximum table is shattered, so that unit is removed, and we have an advance of 4 here, which the tank unit certainly can deal with here. So and going through that hex is not a problem. 1, 2, and 3 to here. I think we can get the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 here, just to cover this line here, and we can do an attack here with the last advance point here onto Georgievsk. It's 7 defense versus 18, so that's only 2-1. There is a tank shift either way, but it's an elite tank shift. So, actually, is that a great attack? 18 to 7, so 2-1, only going up to a 3-1. Oh, there's quite a lot of chances of tank losses there. Is it worth is it actually worth bypassing that instead? So 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe. What's there? Would be to here. That's to create some panic possibly. No, I don't like that attack. I think probably need to. What we don't want to lose is tank steps unnecessarily here. Though of course we don't have a lot of support here other than the Romanians. I don't know. I think we'll just sit there. I don't think we'll attack. I'm quite happy with that. I might actually break that group up, and I think I may move the Panzer Division one step further. Yeah. Okay, it's just going to restrict the movement for those units there who I think are probably going to have to pull back or be bypassed. Right, okay, so that's the combat phase. The only recovery phase we have to do is the HQ here, the ASU here. And from the recovery phase to the supply phase, I think everybody is in supply. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back is fine. Yeah, I don't think we have a problem there. And so just on the supply phase, check supply, no attrition, and we can flip some HQs, well, flip the ASUs. So we can certainly do the 1st Panzer Army support unit, and anywhere else? Yeah, we can do also the 17th Army over Slavyansk near Krasnodar, just up this way. So we've got both wings having support now. 3rd Romanian doesn't have supply though yet. Right. Okay. So I think that's. Oh, and one thing I'll sometimes forget to do is to move the railheads. So I'll move those 2 hexes in advance. So slowly crawling forward. Right, so that's the German turn. Next phase will be the initial phase of the Soviets. Right, Soviet initial phase now. The Soviets really have to do something about these 2 places here. Big danger on, I'm afraid. The initial phase, we need some reinforcements. We do have some reinforcements, but they're rather weedy, shall we say. So all we have is a small infantry brigade here, a free stacking unit, but yeah, not terribly useful at this point in time. So I think it is a C, so it can go straight onto the boards. I suspect for the moment I will need it over in the west here, so I'm going to put it in oops, can't see it, over in, yeah, entry area L. And we of course have some a replacement as well. We actually have a tank replacement. Again, I'm not entirely convinced that that's the best thing to have at this time. We do have a tank unit to build, rebuild. Yeah, just searching for it. Here we go. Which is a fairly rapid unit. I'm not sure it's going to be very much use over in the west here. We'll put it into the east. We'll place it in sector J over here. And then we have resource points, of course. Let's move over to the east to see that. Right, so yeah, the tank unit here is onto entry area J. We finished this fort, and we need to start another one. I don't think there's really any point at all doing much over the other side. You can't put fortifications in cities or mountains or rough or woods, so I think we continue this line, I think. So I think the next one to go would be a fort there. Right, and so we yeah, I suppose we're just onto the movement phase now. Okay, no combat phase. Recovery phase, we've got a unit to recover from full retreat to disrupted down in Nalchik in the east, but over here we've got these units here to undisrupt, which should create somewhat of a defence now. And yeah, the resupply phase here, we need to check supply. I think we're mostly okay. Over here is, I think, the worrisome area, particularly this guy here who is in supply in Cherkassk. I think we've just kind of screened him here. There's no victory points there, so I'm not going to do too much in the way of effort over there. Yeah, and up here, struggling really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, can actually get supply where he is now. So yeah, supply done, and that's it for the turn. So that was turn 8. On to turn 9 soon, and see if the Germans can actually get to the Terek River, and whether they can break into the Black Sea ports as well. I think it's getting quite critical here for the Russians. But anyway, hope to see you on the next video.